Am I the jerk for telling my husband that paternity leave isn't a holiday? I just gave birth to our son, but while he's fighting for his life in the NICU, my husband is treating his paternity leave like a summer vacation. I am in my 30s and I gave birth to our son just a few days ago. To say it was traumatic would be an understatement. I suffered a severe postpartum hemorrhage, lost 1.8 liters of blood, and had to undergo emergency surgery to remove my placenta. I am still in the thick of my recovery. On top of that, our son was born with pulmonary atresia with an intact ventricular septum and was admitted straight to the NICU. He will likely require heart surgery, and the doctors have since told us they have found yet another abnormality that they are currently investigating. My husband has a son from a previous relationship named Greg. I want to be crystal clear that I have absolutely no issue with Greg meeting his little brother or spending time with his dad. I have never asked my husband to choose between his children. However, 2 days after I gave birth, I assumed Greg's mother would bring him to meet the baby briefly before taking him home. Instead, my husband went and collected Greg and spent the entire day with him. They went on the London Eye, grabbed lunch, he had a beer, and then went home to play Xbox until Greg was collected around 9 in the evening. During that entire day, my husband spent perhaps 20 minutes with our newborn in the NICU and barely saw me at all. My mother was staying with me on the postnatal ward, but she was not allowed into the NICU, which meant I was physically making my own way there to see our son while still recovering from major blood loss and surgery. When I explained that I wasn't upset Greg had visited, but that I certainly hadn't expected to be left alone all day while our newborn was critically ill, my husband immediately became defensive. He told me that he enjoyed spending time with Greg and that he was just being a parent. I replied that I wasn't saying he shouldn't parent Greg. I was saying I needed him to be a husband to me and a father to our newborn during what is clearly a medical emergency. When I later tried to explain how serious my blood loss had been, his response was simply, "My sister lost 5 liters." The next day, I had to tell him that doctors had found another abnormality with our son's heart. He complained that nobody had told him, but I had to point out that he had already left the hospital because he'd only spent about 20 minutes in the NICU. I have now been discharged, but our son is still in the NICU. I am exhausted and terrified to leave him while my husband has yet again spent the morning taking Greg to the cinema. I finally snapped and told him that paternity leave isn't supposed to be a holiday and that I don't feel supported at all. I told him if this is what his paternity leave looks like, I would almost rather he just went back to work, because at least then I would understand why I was doing everything alone.
He says I'm being unfair because he's trying to balance both of his children. Am I the jerk?